Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and our guest today is Chris Toone, who is the founder of the Senase Project, an organization that won a distinctive recognition from the Your Mark on the World Center about 18 months ago as one of the very best up-and-coming small nonprofits in the world, and we're excited to introduce you to them and to get a report from Chris on what they've done since that time. So Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm really excited to talk about what you're doing and, well, to listen to you talk about what you're doing because I know our audience is eager to hear. So tell us the story of the Senase Project.
So back in fall of 2010, early September actually, we're coming up on 4 years exactly. I was fortunate enough to study abroad through a program called Semester at Sea, and what that entailed was I basically got on a ship with about 700 or so college students, and we actually had the opportunity to travel around the world. And so we stopped at 12 different countries along the way. Each port we explored and learned a little bit about the culture and met with locals and things like that. And one of our stops was actually in Ghana. So during that time in Ghana, we somehow managed to find our way into the local village of Sinase, which is in the part by the Ivory Coast, right on the border with the Ivory Coast. And while we were there, we were just living the village life for about a day. I don't think we were in the village for more than 72 hours. And our trip actually took us to a small village of Akatim, which is just made up of farmers just trying to get by, and there's school there. And we were actually there during the rainy season, and so once we arrived at the school, it was just downpouring, and so we actually got inside of the school, but we were still getting rained on, and the classrooms were flooding, and teachers were just trying to teach above the noise of the rain. So in that moment, I was with about 6-7 other people. We all kind of looked at each other and was like, this isn't right. We can't consciously keep traveling the world and go back to America knowing that we've just stumbled upon this situation and we're not going to do anything about it. And so as we kept going through Semester at Sea and traveling to other stops, because Ghana was actually the third stop on our itinerary, we kept working together and doing research, and we're like, so how can we help them? What's the best way to raise funds? And after talking to some other people, we just decided to start our nonprofit on our own. And so by the time we got to the port of Hawaii, we were submitting paperwork, and by the time we got back to mainland America, we had received incorporation, and we were off and running pretty much. So
it's really exciting work. So you have now built the school, right? You've built a new school in Senase, right?
So the actual location is in the neighboring village of Akatim. Senase is kind of just our headquarters, and we named the organization that just to pay tribute to the people that welcomed us into their village with such open arms. And even though the school is in Akatim, the village of Senase still welcomes us in with open arms and is still incredibly supportive of what we're doing. So it's actually a six classroom schoolhouse, and then we added on an additional classroom for kindergarten. So there's 7 fully enclosed classrooms now in the village of Akatim.
Wow, and I want you to compare and contrast what was there to what is there now. What was there before, what's there now? It's
just complete 180. I've been back. The first time I went back last January of 2013, the only thing that was fully built was the first 4 block of classrooms, and my jaw dropped then, and it still hasn't fully sunk in yet, to be honest. And then when I went back this April and saw the 4 classrooms and the other 3 classrooms that we had just finished constructing, it was the same thing all over again. I mean, there's windows, so if it's windy outside, they can close the windows. They're safe from the elements, and I think that's what's really important to start making the school a conducive learning environment for the children and even for the teachers and the community as a whole. It's just incredible. The teachers are starting to get supplies now and starting to get more support from the government. The building's a complete 180, but the entire school system as well is a complete 180, and it's incredible to see. And sometimes I still have to sit back and pinch myself to realize how different it is.
So tell us a little bit about what was there before. I'm not sure we have a clear picture yet. We know there were no windows,
Mm-hmm.
but what was there? How many schoolrooms? How many,
It was so the village of Akatim itself, if I could just backtrack here for a second, was actually settled by farmers that were coming to the village of Sinase looking for work. And so they settled outside of Sinase. And so there was no school there. And so what actually happened was the community, wanted to educate their children, and they wanted to learn. And so what the parents did was put up a structure to the best of their ability with the resources they had. And so it was just pretty much like an open structure, and there was sheet metal for the roofing, but the roofing had holes in it, and there were bamboo poles just basically holding it up. Like it wasn't safe to be in at all. There was one point, I think last year, about a year and a half ago now, that thank God the kids were on break, but part of it actually collapsed because it was so unstable. So there's one classroom that had like half of it had like wood board sidings, but it was still completely open, and there's another classroom that just had about like 6 poles holding up some metal sheet roof. It's just very, very basic.
It's amazing what you're doing. How many students are now attending the new school?
So generally in the area, they expect about 120 kids to be there. That was the number we had first gotten when we went there in 2010. Right now for this next school year, we're looking at about 82. But the feedback that we've gotten from the village is incredible, and from Olivia, who's our Ghanaian representative and is there, working with the village and collaborating for us. Since we've put up those structures, it's just more and more kids come to school even every day. More and more parents are comfortable now that their kids have a safe learning environment, and so they're comfortable to send their kids on their way and go get an education. I think right now, again, the number is 82, but the more we work in the village and the more we work with the parents and the teachers and the government and all of the moving parts, the more students we see coming out of the woodworks on a weekly basis, essentially.
How did you raise all the money for this project?
It was tough because most of our members are still in school. So during the school year we're pretty booked up with academics and trying to juggle meeting about the nonprofit and everything. But what it really comes down to is out-of-pocket donations from some incredible people. We go around, we tell our stories, and more times than not, people have just opened up their wallets to us and said, "What can I do to help? What can I contribute that will go a long way?" And then the other thing is we do, we try to do one main fundraiser every summer. So we had a couple of comedy shows going on, and obviously, I do owe a lot to my mom as the biggest supporter, and obviously she's put forth a ton of effort helping us while we're all in school and everything like that. And she's got her core group of friends that are just pretty much, we call them Team Sinase for the most part, because they just go around promoting us as much as possible. But a lot of it has just come from talking to people and straight out of pocket donations. And we've been lucky to go around to our academic institutions, and so Ithaca College has donated money a couple of times where I went to undergrad there, and Hastings College, where our financial officer Grant went to undergrad, has donated money, and we actually got a big grant from Western Kentucky University, which is where one of our former volunteers went to school. And so it's just been a really fortunate and really incredible collaboration and network of people working together.
That's very cool and very exciting. Where do you go from here? Is the Sinase Project, for all intents and purposes, done and you'll move on in your lives, or do you see this as a foundation for more good activity?
I think one of the unique things about our organization, and I think one of the cool things about our organization is for the most part, like, the people running it are all young people, and so what we're willing to do, essentially, because it is a 100% volunteer organization, is we have academics, we have our full-time jobs, and on top of that, we're willing to essentially take on another full-time job. And I think we take this on in the mindset of, we're just going to roll with it, and we're going to roll with the punches, and we're going to roll with what happens. And I don't think the Sinase Project is anywhere close to being done. And I think if there comes a day that it is done, I think all of us will be able to sit down and go, okay, we've accomplished what we want to. We've accomplished enough to make an impact on the world. And although we're already making an impact, I think we're all kind of hungry for more now that our first project's done. Now that we've kind of proven it to ourselves essentially, and to our friends and our families, and all of our followers that we can do this. I think we're ready to hit the grind again and keep going on things.
Oh, well, this is so exciting. Well, I commend you, Chris, for the great work that you have done and are doing, and wish you every success in the future. I'm sure there are some people who are watching who want to engage with you. Some will want to learn more about what you've done. Some may want to contribute to help you continue the good work. How do people find you, engage with you going forward?
So one of the easiest ways to do is find us on Facebook, and the name is word for word, the Senase Project. Senase is spelled S-E-N-A-S-E. We also have a Twitter handle, so @Senase Project, so just take out the. And then our website is actually www.thesenaseproject.org, and actually it's a very exciting time for us. We're actually completely rebranding everything, so we just released our new logo on Monday. And so the website that's up right now is actually going to be completely gone and completely revamped, and the new one is going to be up this coming Monday on September 8th. So for now, Facebook is the easiest way. My personal email is just chris@thesenaseproject.org, and then once Monday comes, we just want to go out with a bang and generate as much traffic as possible to the new website.
Well, fantastic. I hope you'll see a huge traffic next week.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure to have you, and I wish you every success.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having us.
All righty. Let's do some good.
All right.